Johnny Fontana, Real World NF Scorpio, back with another video.
One of the things that I'm very fearful of is hypocrisy. I think it really sucks when people talk out of both sides of their mouth. And I think one of the things that when I was growing up in the business world that became apparent to me is, why do people take advice from individuals who've never done something, right? I've spent a lot of time thinking about that.
Think social and all else will follow as it pertains to introverted intuition, right?
One of my favorite comments on my YouTube channel or my podcast or my Instagram or LinkedIn is when somebody says, "Gary V, you're getting boring, you say the same shit." I go, that's the point. If you really understand the process, I think there's way too many people talking about stuff they don't understand or because they think it will do well for them. I only want to talk about the stuff that I understand because it's the only way I can bring any value. And I'm fine if somebody feels like they got it.
I know a lot of people have tried to give an example and explain what introverted intuition is.
And I think when I think of myself in the personalities that speak or write books or put content, I feel like I'm the reverse. I want people to hear me and then for free and then go on and do their thing and win, instead of keeping people in my funnel and monetize them through courses or masterminds or other things.
And as you will see at the end, or come to understand at the end of this video, is that those who are logical and more sort of linear in their thinking have a different approach than me.
There are people in my sphere that interact with me on social that I'm 100% sure will never win. I'm being dead serious. And It's a tough thing to say, and I don't like to say what I just said, but they will perpetually lose in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and then die. I fully believe that.
Is that lack of talent?
It's a lack of self-awareness.
Okay.
It's not lack of talent. Self-awareness is the ultimate in our society right now, and we're living through a time right now where a lot of kids are being sold to become entrepreneurs when they're not. We're living in a time where people are being told to become famous and extroverts and put out content, and they're not. And as somebody who's living that life, I wanted people to understand, like, look, you have to be built for it. In the same way that I wasn't built to be a scholar, and even though I grew up in the 80s and 90s when being a good student was the game, I fought against it because I was self-aware. Now we have the reverse. There's so many great students that can go and become amazing consultants, make $500,000 a year, have a beach house, marry attractive people, and have a great life, but they're gonna go and become startup founders and spend 6 years failing, going into depression, not winning. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Self-awareness.
You see what I'm saying to you? As you saw in the clip with Gary Vaynerchuk, right? Like, he's self-aware. He's like, I didn't do well in school. Like, that's not who I am. Like, I was thinking about selling. I'm thinking about people. He's all about knowing where people's attention is. So if you have someone who self-identifies, now again, you have to hold them to what they say. They say that they self-identify as having or being TI heavy and having less FE. So that means that their intuition, their stacks, will follow a different set of patterns than of someone like me who's more into social, right? Not necessarily about giving and making people feel good all the time, right? Not necessarily that, but more in terms of understanding what's happening, observing, going out there, gathering information, storing it, and then later recalling it in the moment. I'll give you a couple examples of what intuition is, right? There's in the moment intuition, but again, if you are TI heavy, a lot of that is going to be geared towards non-social. Because if you connect the dots, a lot of people who are TI heavy, INFJs, if you watch them online, they tend to be very short, very quick, right? very like, oh, like I'm very low FE, and they are very dismissive of some of the other abstract ideas that the FE users have. Okay, you have to connect the dots. I mean, like if we were talking about intuition and you're talking about, INFJ and how we have these, correlated functions, then you have to stick to the script. You cannot be like, oh, well, no, I believe it's this way today and therefore tomorrow it's going to be something else. No, if it's going to be on paper, it's going to be on paper. You came to the conclusion that you were this based off of this, so did this person, so did that person, and so did everyone else. So therefore, if you self-identify, go off the script and say, I self-identify as TI heavy and less FE, and you demonstrate that by being short, being more dismissive, less understanding of other people, right? Then therefore, the way that you use your function stacks are going to be totally different than someone who is more FE and who uses SE like me. Okay, someone who's more just developed in other areas. Not to say that we are more developed than any, but again, everyone has their own preferences based on their upbringings and what was cultivated through the environment and so forth and so on. So, as it pertains to NI, let's say I was walking through the mall today, and I would walk through the mall and I would see somebody, or I see a couple or two people, and immediately flashes. And I already know, okay, based on the people that I saw them, I saw what's going on, I understand who they are, I can normally tell and sort of give like a preface, right? Or insight into who they are, their behavior, and so forth and so on. Now, that's just 0.9%. Remember, a lot of people, they tend to, jump the board when it comes to the intuition, and they think it's that. No, it's 0.9%. And that means that you have to now follow it up with information, research, talk to that person, figure out, okay, what's happening in order for that hunch to be solidified. Okay, that's why I call it the 0.9%. And then it later becomes 99%, but there's always a 1% chance that it can deviate. Okay, but generally speaking, you're around the ballpark. Okay, however, based on your approach, how you feeling, how that person's feeling that day, what that person's been exposed to during the day, for whatever reason, that can also alter your interaction. And even within, something may be happening there, and that what would normally have taken place somewhere else at a different time or place is happening differently throughout that interaction then and there. So again, it's very fluid, but you have to be able to understand that and be able to hold these concepts in your mind, right, simultaneously. I'll give you another intuition. I've been walking around the mall, and I've been seeing a lot of fila. Some of you have seen on my previous videos, I've had the fila, okay? Ever since 2015, I've been collecting fila, okay? I grew up in the 80s, late 70s, in the 80s, okay? When I was in Queens, that was the shoe, okay? The brand, fila, okay? And I bought it back in 2015. Now, I had a feeling, again, because you talk about culture, you talk about hip-hop, you talk about how I've been exposed to different things, especially growing up, in the urban area of New York, Queens, Long Island, and so forth and so on. How we like style, we do this, we do that. That's why I collect records, collect, music, collect sneakers, and so forth. I had an intuition that, hey, you know what? This is something that I need to collect. Not because I'm trying to show it off for anyone, just because it's just for me, I'm a collector. Same way that you have collectors who collect coins, collect stamps, whatever. I just knew that it was something that was going to be impactful. Okay, that's why we collect stuff. Okay, people collect cars because they just know there's going to be classic, there's going to be quality. Okay, there's big business in antique, classic, and all that stuff, right? Now, it may not cost a whole lot of money and not be worth a whole lot now, and it's not because I'm trying to resell it. It's just because I knew that that's just going to be something popular, and it's not because I started collecting it because I knew it was going to be popular. That's not the reason why, but I knew that it was. Okay, while I was doing it, but at the time they were $60, $70. I paid for a pair but I knew that it was just going to be an in thing. Not that I was doing it for that reason, but I just knew in the back of my mind. And behold, 4 years later, you have fila all over the place now, which were before, they were very limited, right? You can only find them in certain places. Now you have all the colorways, okay?
I watch anything people are doing. Like 15 months ago, when girls started wearing jeans with rip-outs in them again, like I watched that. I'm being serious, like, because I'm traveling all the time, like, wait a minute, women are wearing jeans like with holes in them again, like they did in '87. This is gonna happen. I'm like, I wonder if dudes are gonna do it. Sure enough, the metrosexuals came out and stepped up and made it real. And so it's great. I mean, the answer is yes, I watch that, just like I watch absolutely everything. The only thing I do is trade people's attention and behavior. That's what I do for a living. The reason I'm right so often is the only thing I spend time consuming is you.
All right? So you get the picture of what I'm talking about there, okay? But again, intuition is something that is based off of recollection. And as you're going through life, you're scanning, and you're just dumping all this information into you, right? Now, a lot of people have intuition for different, situations, experiences. For an INFJ, who's SC driven and FE driven, it's social. So that's why I say think social, all else will follow. So which means that my intuition normally revolves around people, culture, things that are happening around that, not necessarily the physical stuff as far as mechanics, cars, electronics, and all that stuff, digital. That's not me. I'm more into the people, okay, and understanding how that works. So another example of intuition, okay, which is a theory of mine as to why a lot of intuitives, and intuitive feelers may not necessarily jump into relationships and have a hard time, okay? It's because of the fact that intuitively, you meet someone, you see someone, and there's that immediate, right? That lust or whatever, but then now you get trapped in your mind because now you start to see forward. And that's why they say, hey, you got to live in the moment and not stop worrying about the future, because you're sitting here calculating, I'm going to have to do this. All in that two second that you see that person, it flashes. I'm going to have to do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that, do that. So it doesn't necessarily mean intimate, but it can be just a friendship situation. But you can also apply it to intimacy. So let's say I meet someone at the mall, I'm talking to them, and I say, hey, you know what? I need to know where can I get something, or where can I go watch the football game as I'm purchasing something, just quick. And then the person starts to get excited, and they want to become more familiar, and you'll be like, hey, yeah, you can do this. Hey, you want to hang out sometime, whatever. And it's like, well, because future wise, this is in the moment now, but I see holding two concepts in your mind. I'm in the moment now, but I know future, I'm really not going to be in the mood to hang out with you, because there's nothing really that you provide me, right? Like, you're not providing me any value, okay, other than you helping me out with this purchase, right? So I'm in a moment with you now, just allow it, leave it where it is, and let's not worry about tomorrow. Whereas other people, they'll be like, in the moment, yeah, let's do tomorrow, yeah, and then they'll be tomorrow, yeah, and then they'll just constantly be forward, tumbling, and they'll always be in that moment. You know what I'm saying to you? Like my friend, every day, my coworker, every day is texting me, hey, I'm at such and such, whatever. I was like, bro, you at least you could give me an hour, to get ready. Like, no, like, it's just last minute, right? And then tomorrow it'll be, hey, I'm here. Just constantly, always in a moment, trying to get me to go places. And I'm like, bro, like, I need advance notice, because I like to sort of think in advance to know exactly what I'm going to be doing, right? And plan everything out. Not necessarily that I'm a planner, but I have to know, okay, how are things gonna work out? But some people are like that. Some people are more into the moment and be like, hey, let's go. I'm like that too as well, but under certain circumstances. But the intuition, it's a collection of information. And a lot of people say, oh, well, no, if it's experience, if you only basing stuff off experiences, then you must be NE or you must be SI or whatever. And it's like, dude, the problem that you're having is that you can't do it. And that's another problem with NMBTI. People who have undeveloped functions aren't able to do certain things, and then they cast it and say, oh, well, because you can do that, that must be something else. It's like when they look at someone who's actually developed and who has abilities to do certain things, you'd be like, they try to justify their inabilities and say, oh no, that must be something else because an intuitive wouldn't do that because we're gonna stay home and we're not gonna open ourselves up to video cameras, and INFJs would never do that. Oh really? So okay, so you're telling me that you are intuitive. Let's go to the mall right now. I want you to look at that person. Tell me everything you know about that person. What do you think? Just give me an overview on that person's personality. Well, no, I need more details. I need more concrete information. No, Mr. or Mrs. Intuitive, I'm asking you to give me information based off of no facts, no information. Just go. No, I need more context. I need more information. I need to see what's going on, what's happening before I can come to any conclusion. Okay, well then, I thought you said you were intuitive. You can probably pick things up in the air. Oh, no. But, just because you're doing it in the moment, then you must be SC, Dom. You know what I'm saying to you? Because they can't do that now, they justify their inabilities by portraying you as another type. But that's in everything, right? Not necessarily MBTI, but in every endeavor, every subculture, right? So just know that even within the INFJ, people who self-identify as TI heavy, that means that they have low FE because they say it. And then normally they follow it with, oh, I'm actually a program software developer. I'm an engineer. I'm this. So you can tell that's logic, right? That's also SI. Very precise, in the know, boom, 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 boom. So therefore, that's how they cultivate and groom and process things on a daily basis. So practice. Whereas for me, that's not me, right? I'm more into logistics. That's why I'm involved in logistics. That's why I have to leave mechanics. That's why I have to leave, dealing with my hands and things that have to do with the physical, because my mind doesn't work like that. I'm more into logistics and understanding big picture of how things go and how things are situated. You see what I'm saying to you? And it also has to do with people. So the admin stuff I'm not so good at, but I'm able to strategically understand why this is not happening between these, people or these groups or this division, and where's the communication. And as a result of the miscommunication, this is happening. Well, because you weren't aware of this, it's causing this to happen. If you knew this was occurring, then you would limit this, and then therefore the result would be this. So I'm able to see these, but again, I have to be in there for a while to sort of start picking up these things, and all of a sudden it's just like, you know what I'm saying to you? So all of that is just intuition, but again, it's based off of references that you've been storing. We go through life, and that's what we do. We're like garbage bins. We just store information. And if you think that it's not going to be through experiences, then you're dead wrong. But then that means that you're just not living, and that everywhere you go, your mind is just blank, and you just are not open to receiving new information, okay? Which is wrong. It doesn't matter if you're INFJ, ENFP, ENFJ, ISCP, what have you. You're always constantly taking in information, but the INFJ, we now regurgitate that information from the subconscious in order to apply it through our FE. Not through SC, like Talking Famous. The SC is actually also pinging information. It's receiving information and it's sending that signal to the NI. It's not FE. Okay, FE is not picking stuff up. It's actually, because you cannot have the SC, both the SC and stuff picking up, you know, because again, the FE doesn't observe. The SC is what observes. The SC is the action. That's what's picking things up. Sensor, your sensory. Okay, feeling is not a sensor. Feeling is what you actually do in order to provide that social stability. You see what I'm saying? Through your FE. You feel, right? But you sense, pings it through your TI, makes logical sense of it, then picks it up from your NI. Okay, this is what I need to do. Okay? Or it may go back to your NI first. Your NI, it's like it scoops it up. Okay, recall this information, send it to your TI. Okay, make sense of how you need to deliver this, you know, social stability, and then boom, through your FE, here you go. If you have low FE, guess what? It's gonna come out like you're an asshole. Okay, you're gonna be short and you're gonna be quick, and you're gonna dismiss the people around you. You see what I'm saying to you? That's having low FE. And so when you are quick and short with someone and so, oh, you have low FI and whatever, it's like, yo, dude, like, I'm not an INFP. Of course I have low FI. Why would I need to have FI for? I have FE. You see what I'm saying to you? And what that FE is doing is, if I'm coming into you an INFP video because you've been talking crap about INFJs and soliciting unhealthy INFJ videos for likes and views, I'm going to come in as a protector and use my FE, okay, and in order to create social stability and grab my fellow INFJs and be like, hey, stop listening to this crap, bro, because, you know, you're going to end up, all right, more damage than you are now, all right? So just be careful, okay? So, but anyway, I know it got carried away, but we have to understand where all this is coming from, right? This is not just, we're just walking around and you know, we're finding ourselves. Yes, at the end of the day, you find yourself, but guess what? After you find yourself, what are you going to do? You're going to sit and keep on going and watching the same videos about how you're not attracting people, and you do this, and you have low FE, and you have low SE, and you're still finding yourself, and you're socially awkward. Like, bro, like, you're 30 years old. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no excuses anymore. If you are online, listen, if you are online and you've been posted and you have 1,000 posts, you have no excuse. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. Because if you seriously have issues, then you should be away from the internet. You see what I'm saying to you? You should be away from the internet. But if you have 1,000 posts and you just constantly posting, but you are in that space of dwelling, I'm coming from you. And I'm going to be like, you know what? You have low SC because you're not being able to read the room. You're not able to understand that by you doing this, you're messing other people up. You see what I'm saying to you? I know I've been getting passionate, but guess what? Sometimes, you know, it needs to be heard. It needs to be said. Right? So, anyway, back to Johnny Fontana. Real World NF Scorpio. We out.